a couple of times when I've been up here. I've been to his new lounge. I wouldn't want to necessarily go there today. I prefer to go there when we get beat. Really.
I think you're the first manager to go undefeated here in 5 consecutive Premier League matches. So
Right.
you must be happy about that, especially with.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I suppose. Well, I'm most happy about the way the team played today, and so pleased for the players. I think that was not easy coming up here for the second time in a few days, and to give that performance and to work that hard and to defend as well as we did throughout the 90 minutes and to win the game. That's what gives me the most satisfaction, and I'm not even certain I could tell you about all the other games that have gone before. Well, I'm pretty certain I'd have been pretty delighted after those as well. So no doubt I'd have been saying the same sort of things I'm saying now.
United looked short of a lot of ideas against you. Do you think that was just how good your shape, how compact, how robust you were? Because the defenders superb throughout that game. They didn't look a major threat to you. There were a couple of us who know this.
Well, it's nice of you to say so, and of course I'll agree with that. I mean, I think that I thought the shape from the start and the pressurising from the start as well. I thought that, as opposed to the other night, with a totally different team, to be fair, as opposed to that, I thought that we put players under a lot more pressure on the ball. Their back players, Casemiro, when he dropped deep, they were finding it harder to hit the passes that they were hitting against us on Tuesday night, and as a result, it was easier for our defenders to defend the box when the ball eventually got their way. We played quite high as well. We didn't drop off. We were brave. When the forward players pressurised, the midfield players got up very close behind them, and the back players close behind them. And of course, that's not rocket science. You know, most coaches that come here will be hoping and looking for that type of performance, because you know that when you come to grounds like Old Trafford and you're playing teams of the quality of Manchester United, if you're open and there are gaps and you're not compact and sealing off the areas they want, they're going to get in those areas, and when they get in those areas with the quality of players they have, they're going to score goals. So all credit to the players as far as I'm concerned, and perhaps an extra mention simply because Tuesday night was such a disappointment for us. We didn't come here to lose 3-0. We came here hoping that we could progress in the Carabao Cup. We were, dumped out of that really with the Man United performance on Tuesday. So even more credit to the players to do what they did today.
Given the fact that the injury crisis and having to come here 2 times within the space of a week, it's one of your favourite results as Crystal Palace manager.
Well, I'm hoping the favourite ones are to come. I mean, I think you have to be very careful looking back and saying this was my favourite result. It's my favourite one for the moment, that's for certain. But I mean, there might be others. So, maybe one day, in a few years' time, when I have nothing to do with football anymore, you might ask me what was your favourite result, and you might remind me of this one. I might agree with you, but at the moment, I'm just happy for the day, happy for the performance, really happy for the players, and to some extent, a little bit cowed by the thought that we got Nottingham Forest coming up next weekend at Selhurst Park, and that's going to be a tough game as well. And somehow or other, we've got to get the players back into this way of thinking, this way of believing, and not just save it for the odd occasions when we come to Old Trafford or somewhere else of that ilk.
Hi, Roy. You've obviously been here many times, as we've mentioned. Have you always come here with the same mindset when you're coming to Old Trafford? Does it still have that same feeling that did when you're coming here maybe 10 years ago? Or has it changed?
I remember very well the first time I came here with the team. It was with Inter, and it was a pre-season competition. It was called. They decided upon it. The directors of Manchester United at the time and the directors of Inter, they decided they would play for a cup every year. It only ever went to 1 year because Inter won it, and I think they banjoed it after that. So I remember that game extremely well when we came here with Inter and won. Other matches, there's been some good ones. There's been some that have not been quite so good, I suppose. But the bottom line is that, you know, the work I've done since I came back to England, you know, first with Fulham and then with West Bromwich Albion and Crystal Palace and a very short spell at Liverpool, it's really been with teams that when they've come here, they've not been in the same ballpark as Manchester United. That's the thing, which makes it even more satisfying if you can put a team on the field who, through their own great efforts, come away with a good result. So a lot of my good memories from English football will be thanks to those games, because, to be fair, we haven't necessarily had the right to come here and beat Manchester United in front of 75,000 people. This is a big club.
Well, speaking of times gone by, there was a time that after a win like this, you would have gone and had a glass of lovely red with Sir Alex Ferguson and sort of discussed what had gone on. But because of obviously us, the media, and all the things you have to do now, I just don't think those traditions have remained. Is that something that you miss? Is that something that you'd like to do, and sort of, especially after a result like today, to sort of have that conversation?
Yeah, especially, you know, with Sir Alex, who I like to regard as a friend. We've known each other an awful long time, and we've had many moments together. And in fact, a couple of times when I've been up here, I've been to his new lounge. I wouldn't want to necessarily go there today. I prefer to go there when we get beat, really, rather than, you know, when we've done well. But yes, I mean, unfortunately, that aspect of English football has declined. When I first came back in 2008, on Blackburn certainly, but when I came back again in 2008, it was still very common for after a game you would be invited into the opposing manager's office and you would share a drink and you'd talk about football in general. I'm afraid that's passed us by a little bit, and partly because it's not a tradition on the continent. So with the managers coming in from the continent, they haven't embraced that in the same way that all English managers used to do it.
Did you even get a chance to talk to Ten Hag at all, or is it?
Well, I spoke to him briefly before the game. He's been very charming. I mean, I've been impressed by him as a person. I like his presence. I like, very nice talking to him, very sensible. But I have not had the chance to really discuss football at any great depth with him. It would be a nice thing to do, but I don't know when that chance will come about. I shall invite him into our office at Crystal Palace when they come and play us down there. But these days, teams are having to dash off to get a plane or to catch a train, so it doesn't always work out.
When you look back at the last 5 games that we've played here, are there any sort of striking similarities that spring to mind about the performance that your team has put in? Is there anything that really sort of stands out to you?
Yeah, they've all been like this one. That's what they've been. That's what they've been like. You know, they've not been games where, from the offset, we've pegged Manchester United back in their own penalty area. We've had to suffer the fact that they've got a lot of good players and they've asked a lot of questions of us defensively. And the team that I've brought here at that time has stood up very well to those challenges and then taken advantage of whatever opportunities come our own way. So I think I don't have that clear picture of all those games that you're alluding to, but I'm pretty certain that was what it will be like.